Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor here with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you have any questions about buying property in the Villages, trying to get a good deal, or you're trying to sell your home and want to know what it's worth, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Also, two things to mention. First, make sure you check today's date. This show is produced every Monday. Make sure you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, all of this information is drawn from the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service, does not include any properties on the Village's own internal VLS system. Let's start today by looking at two things, neither of which is directly related to the Village's real estate. This first graph that you're looking at is the yield or the interest rate on the 10-year bond. And that low of 3.98 that you see there is actually 0.0398, and the figure that you see currently of 39.22 is actually 3.922, and you can get some idea as to how much rates have risen since April of 2020. Also, looking at this graph, you can get some perspective as to whether you think interest rates are going to be going up or down from here. Looking at this graph, it certainly doesn't appear as if one should be confident that they're going to be going down. Second thing we're going to look at is this graph, which shows the percentage of 65 or older homeowners without a mortgage. The number of older homeowners without a mortgage was almost 66% in the mid-90s, and it's plummeted ever since. Currently, we're close to 53% of 65 or older homeowners without a mortgage. In other words, almost half of 65-plus-year-old homeowners have a mortgage now. So for all of the people who are looking at the Villages real estate market and thinking that these are all cash buyers because 65-year-olds don't have mortgages, perhaps this will put that theory to rest. So now let's turn our attention to the Villages real estate market itself. As always, we start by looking at total listings, down by 1 this week to 338 from 339 last week. Listings range in price from just under $168,000 to $2.1 million. And looking at this graph, it certainly appears as if the number of listings is going to continue to increase. Here we have an in-depth look at the properties that are currently listed. This has listings by price segment going back for the last 5 weeks. In the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, this week there are 211 homes for sale. Last week there were 207. The week before there were 204. The week before 192, and the week before 193. Here we take a look at the median listing price per square foot for all properties currently listed. This week it's $263.49. This is very close to the lowest number per square foot that we've seen since we started doing this almost a year ago, and the trend towards lower prices per square foot does seem to be continuing. This graph shows us the median time on the market for all listings, which currently stands at 46 days. A lot of homes do get snapped up immediately upon entering the market, and we'll cover that later in the show. But you can see that the median time is up slightly from the figures we saw for the last 2 weeks. Here we look at new listings and pending home sales to get some idea as to how many homes are entering and leaving the market every week. This week there are 34 new listings and 34 homes went pending. If you're looking at the graph, the blue bars are the new listings and the orange bars are the number of homes that went pending. Here we take a more in-depth look at the new listings, which, as I said, number 34. In the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, this week there were 19 new listings. Last week, 18. The week before, 17. The week before, 19. And the week before, 28. Noteworthy is how few homes have entered the market over $800,000 over the last 5 weeks. Here we take a look at pending home sales on a per square foot basis. Over the last 7 days, the homes that went pending at a median per square foot price of $264.68. There doesn't seem to be that much movement in the price per square foot on pending home sales. We've been bouncing between $245 and $265 for the last several months. This graph shows us how long the homes that went pending were on the market. The median time is 28 days. This does seem to be showing improvement over recent time periods. Seeing it back under 30 days is encouraging. Another perspective on the pending home sales, they had a median price change of a negative 4.47% from the original listing price. These graphs on price changes are a little misleading because as new homes enter the market, they're entering the market at more realistic current day values as opposed to the values that sellers might have hoped for a year ago. This is a look at the homes that sold and closed over the last 7 days. They numbered 21. They ranged in price from 245,000 to 950,000. Activity certainly does seem to be subdued, and we're seeing activity levels on home sales at only half of the level that they were almost a year ago. This is a closer look at the 21 properties that sold over the last 7 days, showing you what price segments they were in. In the $300,000 to $500,000 range, the last 7 days saw 13 sales. Previous 7 days saw 16. Previous 9. 7 days prior to that, 18, and the 7 days prior to that, 12. This is the price per square foot realized on homes that sold and closed over the last 7 days, $243 a square foot. This trend towards lower prices per square foot does seem to be intact when looking at this homes sold chart. And the last look at homes that sold over the last 7 days, they were on the market for a median time of 15 days, well below the 50 plus that we saw at the end of last year, and some encouraging hope for the future here. This summary gives you some perspective on how enthusiastic buyers are. Of the 21 sales in the last 7 days, 5 of them were on the market for less than 7 days. Of the 34 homes that went pending over the last 7 days, 10 were on the market for less than 7 days. That's 29%. Previous week saw 15% of pending home sales go pending within 7 days. If we look at the number of listings that have been on the market for over 100 days, 22% of all listings, or 74 out of 338 listings, have been on the market for more than 100 days. And the last two things we look at are what percentage of properties that are currently listed have decreased their price from their original listing price. 53.33% of all listings have decreased their asking price from the original listing price. This has been rising constantly this year, and we're almost back to the highest levels that we saw at the end of last year. And the last thing we look at is what is the median change from the original listing price for all current listings. Currently, 4.54% is the median change, a decrease of 4.54% from the original listing price. So that concludes this week's look at the Village's real estate market. Once again, I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you're trying to buy a home in the Villages and are trying to get a good deal, or you're trying to sell your home and would like to know what it's worth, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you. Take care.